Hola amigos, Dr. Labrunicky. Today we're going to take a look at the preterite in the imperfect past tenses. Since we don't have a concept like this in English, it can be a little bit tricky for English speakers. Hopefully this video will help clarify. Let's take a look at some uses of the preterite. The preterite is used for an action that took place at a specific time in the past. So there may be keywords like ayer, yesterday. For example, yo fui a escuela ayer, I went to school yesterday. An action viewed as completed in the past. En verano, tomé una clase de historia. In summer, I took a class of history. Successive actions or events in the past. Me levanté, desayuné, y fui a la clase. I got up, ate breakfast, and went to class. So each action has to be finished before I can go on to the next one. There's certain verbs where beginning and ending is implied, such as empezar and comenzar, to begin, or terminar, completar, to finish. For example, la película empezó a las 6. The movie began at 6 would be a good example of these. Here's some examples of uses of the imperfect past tense. Talking about life in the past. Cuando era más joven, no tenía móvil. When I was younger, I didn't have a cell phone. Repeated actions in the past with some keywords such as a menudo, a veces, generalmente, con frecuencia, martes, soler. Often, sometimes, generally, frequently, Tuesdays. And soler means usually, and that's always used with the imperfect. Yo solía levantarme a las 7. I usually got up at 7. Ongoing actions can be expressed with the imperfect or the progressive tense. Jugaba al fútbol, estaba jugando al fútbol can both be I played soccer or was playing soccer. And here's some more rules for the imperfect. Telling time in the past is always used with the imperfect. Era la una, it was 1 o'clock. Eran las dos, it was 2 o'clock. Notice for the hours that are plural, from 2 to 12, you want to use eran because that's the plural. Talking about age in the past, era joven, tenía 20 años. He was young, he had 20 years. Simultaneous actions viewed as process. Mientras mis hijas dormían en su cuarto, yo comía el helado. While my girls slept in the room, I was eating the ice cream. Intention in the past, yo quería regresar a España con mi familia. I wanted to return to Spain with my family. And that also falls under the category of a mental process. Here's another way to think of the preterite versus the imperfect if you think of it as a story or a movie setting. The imperfect sets the scene, what was the background like. The preterite are the actions that happen throughout the story. Sometimes it depends on point of view. We can think of the imperfect as a process going on in the past, and we can think of the preterite as the completion of an event in the past. Here's some examples where I can use the same verb in either the preterite or the imperfect, but it can change the meaning but still be grammatically correct. La película fue buena. La película era buena. The movie was good. With fue, I'm more saying at the end of the movie it was good. Era, maybe during the movie it was good. A little change in meaning. With saber, to know. Juan lo sabía ayer. He knew the information. Juan lo supo means that he found out. So it changes the meaning slightly. Maria quiso comprar la casa means that she tried to do something. Maria quería comprar la casa. She wanted to buy the house. So typically with mental processes we use that with the imperfect, and if we use some of these with the preterite, it can change the meaning of the verb. One way to talk about the preterite and the imperfect is first think about it in English. I was doing my Spanish homework. My brother ran into my room. So the was doing would be in the imperfect because it's the background information. My brother ran into my room. That verb would be in the preterite in Spanish because it's an interruption. He was frantic. I was annoyed. This could give background information, could be in the imperfect. He told me there was a fire in the kitchen. So told me could be in the preterite. Was a fire, could be background information, could be in the imperfect. We ran outside and called the fire department. Ran outside, preterite, that's a specific event. Called the fire department, preterite, specific event. That's why I didn't finish my homework last night. Could be the preterite, a one-time event, why I didn't finish my homework. All right, let's take a look at some examples. So here I'll give you a few minutes to think about it. Just hit the pause button, and then I'll go over the answers next. So our first one, el cerdito pif trabajaba. In the imperfect, that's the background information. En su casa cuando apareció. El lobo, the wolf appeared, preterite. Dos, pif estaba en la escalera cuando el lobo llamó a la puerta. Pif was on the ladder, imperfect. When the wolf knocked at the door, llamó. Tres, cuando Paf, su hermano, llegó, Pif estaba en el saco del lobo. When his brother Paf arrived, preterite, Pif was in the bag of the wolf, imperfect. How about some simultaneous actions? Take a few moments to look here and then we'll go over the answers. Hit the pause button if you need more time to work. All right, número uno. Mientras Paf corría, imperfect. El lobo lo quería comer, imperfect. While Paf was running, the wolf wanted to eat him. Número dos. Aunque Paf tenía miedo, el lobo se divertía. So both in the imperfect. Although Paf was scared, the wolf was having fun. Tres. Durante todo eso, Puf, el tercer cerdito, terminaba su casa. During all this, Puf, the third little pig, was finishing his house. And let's look at some consecutive actions. I'll give you a few moments to work. Pause the button if you need more time, and then we'll go over the answers. All right, here all the verbs are in the preterite. Pif y Paf fueron a la casa de Puf. They went to his house. Ellos cerraron la puerta. They closed the door. El lobo trató, pero no pudo, derribar la casa de ladrillo. The wolf tried, but could not, knock down the house made out of brick. Okay, here's some examples where you can use your imagination. Pause the video if you need a little bit more time. Okay, so número uno. Mientras el profesor hablaba, los alumnos. While the teacher was talking, the students. Could be the preterite or imperfect for any of these depending on what you want to say. If the students were doing something ongoing in the background, pick the imperfect. If somebody did something like throw a paper airplane at a specific moment, preterite. Número dos. Mientras la familia estaba en el trabajo, el perro. While the family was at work, the dog. Again, if you chose something like slept all day, could be in the imperfect. If the dog ate the food off the counter, that could be the preterite. Tres. Cuando estaba en la escuela primaria yo. When I was in elementary school, I. If it's something that you did repeatedly, choose the imperfect. If it's a one-time event, choose the preterite. So that gives you an idea of how the imperfect and the preterite work in Spanish. Gracias por mirar. Subscribe for free by clicking Learning Spanish with Dr. L, my YouTube channel. Adios.